You're sitting at home watching the World Series this week. Feet up, maybe a bowl of chips in your lap. The pitcher goes into his windup, unleashing yet another pitch, this one darting hard to the left, away from the batter, in the last 15 feet. This catches your attention. The pitcher then repeats his delivery and throws another pitch, this one, however, darting hard diagonally to the right. The batter stands no chance and swings over the pitch. You jump out of your chair, spilling chips all over your living room floor. You can't believe what you just saw. As the hitter is walking back to the dugout, you're left there wondering, how did the guy throwing a simple circular object just do that? How was he able to make the ball seemingly dance exactly how he wanted? As a pitcher myself, I constantly ask myself this question. How do they make it look so different than when I am throwing? I'm always wondering how I'm able to make the ball move like the major leaguers do. How am I able to take my game to the next level? After all, are they just naturally able to do this? Or was there some sort of learning of their own behind it? This led me to finally doing some research of my own. From this research, I discovered there are a few different factors that play into how much or how little a thrown baseball moves on its flight throughout the air. Today, I'm going to share with you what affects a baseball while it is in the air, and how these guys make the ball move like they do. I will tell you how the spin of the ball creates lift underneath it, what the role of the seams of a baseball are on different pitches, and different factors that can create a baseball to move more. I feel this topic requires me to start at the base level for all of you, so I will first tell you how the spin of the ball interacts with the air around it. The most common pitch in baseball is called a fastball. This pitch spins backwards, creating a backspin effect. To better understand this, it's easier to think of how airplane wings create lift for an airplane. The shape of the wings causes air above to move faster than the air underneath it. This causes lower air pressure above the wing and higher air pressure underneath it. The greater air pressure at the bottom of the wing pushes the wing up. The backspin of the baseball has a similar effect. The spin of the ball dictates the rotation of the boundary layer, the thin layer of air flowing over the baseball. The backspin of the ball causes the boundary layer underneath to actually shoot air forward, opposing the air that is trying to travel underneath the baseball. The clashing air flow produces higher air pressure underneath the ball. On the top of the ball, the boundary layer shoots air backwards in the same direction that the air is attempting to move over the baseball. These airflows combine with one another to create faster air movement and lower air pressure above the baseball. The mixture of slower air movement underneath and faster air movement above the ball creates lift that slightly opposes gravity. And no, it is not possible for a ball thrown overhand to counteract gravity enough to the point where it is actually rising. I've now told you how the spin of the baseball affects how a fastball moves, but I have not yet told you how the 108 seams stitched on a baseball affect its flight, which I will cover now. The seams sticking out of a baseball grab the air around them, effectively creating a larger boundary layer than a ball with no seams could. The horseshoe shape of the stitching allows a pitcher to throw any pitch as either a 2-seam pitch or a 4-seam pitch, or a variation of those two. The 4-seam pitch, which I previously talked about, allows 4 evenly spaced seams around the baseball to influence the boundary layer, creating quite predictable and stable flight. A 2-seam pitch spins on an axis that does not create balanced seam interaction with the boundary layer. This is a 4-seam pitch, and this is the 2-seam. This creates a seam loop on either side of the ball. If you turn the axis slightly to the right or the left, one of the seam loops moves towards the point of pressure, where the ball breaks through the surrounding air and experiences greatest wind resistance, while the other seam loop moves away from it. The dominant seam, this one here, creates a point of consistent friction as it pushes the boundary layer air nearly directly into the air breaking across the point of pressure. When the seam catches that angle with enough friction, it causes the baseball to dart right or left, depending on the dominant seam, hence the different movement of different pitches. I will now explain to you the factors that can result in greater movement of a baseball. A ball with higher seams moves more than a ball with flat seams. The raised seams create a heightened Magnus force. The Magnus force, named after the German scientist Heinrich Magnus, describes how a turning ball in the air drags air along with it. A study done by the physics department at the College of Worcester in Ohio showed in a comparison of a baseball with raised seams versus a baseball with flat seams, that the ball with raised seams had twice the amount of force due to the magnet's effect acting on it. While this may sound insignificant, this would mean that a 90-mile-per-hour curveball would move with raised seams would move 0.62 feet more than a flat seam curveball, which is quite a significant amount for a batter trying to hit that. A higher spin rate of a ball can also make it move more. The faster a ball spins, the greater the resulting Magnus effect will be on the ball. The more revolutions it makes as it approaches the plate, the more force will be applied when that certain seam does catch the point of pressure, and the greater the movement will be away from the direction of the Magnus force. I think I have now taught you all that you need to know about what makes a baseball move. In summary, I've informed you how it is possible to create lift underneath a spinning baseball. I've told you the role of the seams of a baseball play in the movement of different pitches. I've outlined a few different factors that can make a baseball move throughout its flight. I believe you now all know enough to go experiment on your own with a baseball and see if you can make it dance like the pros. So, next time that you are watching a baseball game on TV, you see an unbelievable pitch, maybe you won't be quite as stumped by how exactly they did that, and maybe you'll be able to save that bowl of chips from hitting the floor in the process. Thanks.